Hi there. This is Mark Mukunda, and I have Helen with me. And I'm using my Mukunda name. I'm here at Integral Yoga, and this is where I met Helen. And we were just discussing this, which was, we didn't get a year though. What year do you think that was?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. All right. So you were in my class prior to that?
No.
Or that was the class 3 years ago. All right. And then you came back here.
This is my 6th visit now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. And
Yeah.
Helen has been graciously keeping in touch with my videos all the way from across the sea.
I have. It's actually really weird seeing me next to Mukunda now. So, because I'm used to just being the one holding Mukunda
Right.
in my hand. And anyway, the
You're
miracles
now,
of...
You're now, exactly, technology. But we've been discussing this for a while to
Yeah.
try to, and we've been making messages and try it here, try it there. And it just worked out today.
Today it just whoosh.
So that's pretty
There we
awesome.
were, here we are.
But we were committed, and I think that's where
That's
there's
it.
something to
Intention.
it. Yeah.
Intention is everything.
Yes. I don't think we even need to do the reading. I think we've got our topic right. But we are going to do the reading from the Golden Present Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda. And we're reading for today, which Helen knows the rules, which is we just open it up for the
I
day.
have no idea.
We haven't read ahead, and then we just spontaneously, share about it together. So the topic for June 3rd is, what is a vow? What is a vow? Your own commitment. You decide to do a certain thing, to follow certain principles, and that becomes your vow. You make a vow. A marriage vow is a commitment. A monastic vow is a commitment. Even friendship is a commitment. Life itself is a commitment. If you make a vow and honestly try and find you cannot live up to it, you need not feel guilty about it. Because if you feel guilty, then you lose your courage, your strength of mind. But if you make a promise to somebody, and if you fail in your promise, and by that you affect someone else's life, then certainly you will feel guilty and the karma will affect you.
Without commitment in life, we can never grow. Commitment is a way of training the mind and making it obey you. You become the master of your mind. Who wants to break the commitment? Your mind. The mind pops up. Oh, I don't want to do it. And you give up. Then, wherever you go, whatever you do, the mind will have that same tendency. Think before you leap. Once you leap, that's it. Stick to it, whatever it is. Your dynamic will should be applied. Yes, I decided to do it. I am going to do it. I will never back out. The dynamic decision itself will help you achieve success in that.
Wow.
The dynamic decision itself will help you achieve success in that.
That's so powerful.
I'm going, you know when they're haripulating, it's called.
Well, I love, what's it called?
Haripulate. The hairs stand up
Haripulate?
and the hairs ripple. It's called haripulation. Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard that word.
That's the weird one. Let's take these off now.
I'm going to try to use that in a sentence. Haripulate. Okay.
So I've haripulated. Yeah, that intention and that. This has been a big thing for me about what am I committing to? When I overcommit, it goes wrong. And when I undercommit, I feel guilty. So it's, balancing this. What is our true commitment? How much am I capable of? How much am I trying to please other people?
Yeah, very
This
good.
is just, yeah.
Well, these are, those questions, and I like how you made that distinction between overcommitting and undercommitting, and there's that kind of sweet spot there of that right commitment where it's balanced with our actions. We know what are we capable of to some extent. But I also like this line about when you take the leap, once you leap, stick to it, whatever it is. So whether it's maybe you feel like you overcommitted or undercommitted, but if you leaped, just stick with it, because so much of what I feel like Swami Satchidananda shares and teaches us is that whether you make a mistake, you fall, or it all has value. It all has purpose. You know, it's not that we made anything went wrong, but we learn. So if it was an overcommitment, and you just go for it and you learn. If it's an undercommitment, you feel that guilt, you learn. But then hopefully we refine that through life, right? And we start to find that ability to know how to balance.
Yeah, it's about that's really what I see more and more over the last 3 years since I trained, and some of you know me here as Satya at the Institute.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm Satya Helen.
Satya.
Oh, I say Helen Satya.
Oh, I like it.
But so
Truth.
much of it is about this balancing act. You know, the whole thing of yoga is we have to be balanced in our practice to work the body so it doesn't put too much strain one way or the other.
Exactly.
And yeah, this thing about the guilt that we then feel when we feel like we've made a mistake, we feel guilty, we haven't done things right. And I remember a spiritual teacher of mine once saying, you know, you make a mistake, you learn, and you don't do it again. That's what mistakes are supposed to be there for. But unfortunately,
right, doesn't
the slow
always seem to...
the slow learning group, not me. Yeah.
Right.
So I could read this again actually.
I know,
because
right?
there's just so much in here. It's like so many.
Well, I love that he's really encouraging it to not feel guilty about it.
And that dynamic decision.
If you don't live up to it, just because it's that. Really, I've heard someone else speak about, you know, guilt being. It's not one of the more useful emotions because it tends to just cycle in on itself. But what can you do that kind of moves you out of that and moves you forward? And I think, you know, it says like you lose your courage, your strength of mind with guilt. You're not feeling empowered.
Yeah, well, it just takes all the energy because you're then so busy dealing with all this. You know, it's like the ego going completely into its own, like it was almost an implosion.
Yeah.
You know, and you're there, and it's a waste of time. Somebody said guilt's the gift that loves to go on giving, you know, and it keeps you.
That's good.
But it's hard to retrain, and that's also because we think that we're the cause of everything.
Right.
So actually, if we get back to the simple bit of we're just a part of a whole.
That's right.
There can be no guilt because we haven't actually done anything.
Ta-da! There we go. The nugget of the reading here.
I'd like to. I mean, it's all very well to say this, but you know,
Right.
But yeah.
Well, I love this idea too. Just bringing it back to our experience of we made a commitment to want to do this together, and that it really took a lot of effort. But we kept the commitment that it would happen, and it was through that that we found, you know, that things kind of happened without our effort almost today.
Yeah.
It was sort of just like a little magic.
Yeah.
But there was an intention in our heart, and so I like to think that.
What's that? A cat.
It sounds like it.
Has Tuna come to visit us here? This is my other wish, of course, is to meet Tuna, but we'll leave that for the moment.
I'm hoping that'll happen. Because
Yeah,
you have how many
hoping.
more days?
I'm going Monday afternoon.
All right, well-
and I'm back and forwards here, so let's
right.
see. But to finish the...
Yes, sorry, we got...
What is a vow? A vow... so I think the thing here to look at is what is a vow? It's like, don't over... I'm one of these people that's it's all or nothing. And then suddenly on the way to all, I've flaked, right? So I'm doing what my beloved partner Nick, who's in London, would call baby steps, taking a series of baby steps. And I'm really looking at what am I capable of, you know, with the limitations of my body, my age, where I am, how I am, and not trying to become a swami in this lifetime. You know, I think when I started out on the spiritual path, it was like, yep, and that's where you get to. But it's like, not everybody is meant to do that. It's not everybody's karma in this lifetime. But if we can just simply sometimes follow some of the simple yamas and niyamas, do a little bit of stretching, eat wisely.
Well, that's what I think the way I'll kind of round this out from my perspective on this is that we do little things that create success. So make one commitment that gets you to this point, and then a door opens to the next commitment or the next vow you might make to yourself, rather than making the big grand vow in the beginning that could be overwhelming and then you don't meet it. What can you do that creates that little bit of success to that commitment? And even though, like this reading, 365 days, and now I think I had made a commitment to keep these 8 minutes, and we're going into 10 and a half.
It's just been such a wonderful service. Because we don't really have integral yoga established firmly in London,
right.
And I miss my Sangha here, so it's been a way of keeping me up with my commitment, because you're doing this, I'm committed to following it. And I'm just finding that as well. I think the more that you do, they used to call it, and when I was involved with the Hare Krishnas, a higher taste. The more you do of the good stuff, you develop eventually a higher taste. The things, the senses, all those things that put us back, that used to attract you, they just aren't that attractive anymore. And you do them, but you sort of, why am I doing this? Maybe you have to keep doing it for a bit until you just simply...
it falls away.
Yeah, it falls away. You can't forcibly renounce. I think that's
right.
One of the difficult things with vows. You know, you vow and it's like, as he says, think before you take the leap. Because you need a lot of momentum to get to the cliff on the other side.
But once you take the leap, keep going.
Keep going. Land on that cliff on the other side.
Right. Well, we can't keep going. We got to end. We have to bring this to a close. But I'm so happy that there you were this morning to share this with me.
Little miracle.
And I hope we get Helen back again before she leaves, or at some point. We've got more than half a year to go, so you'll be back.
I'll be back.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I'll be back.
Thank you so much. Grateful you could do this.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.